It is the first week of April 2024, and I've got the latest market data for March of 24. We're going to dive into that right now. This is Tego Venturi with the Venturi Group, a real broker here in Albuquerque. Been doing these market updates for a long time now, and I really love to bring this information out and get you guys the real data on what is happening with the real estate market in Albuquerque. Please, if you're watching me on YouTube, or even if you're not, go to YouTube and hit subscribe. We're almost to a big milestone. I'd love to hit that. And again, just it helps get this information out and keep people informed on what's going on in the market. All right, I'm going to start right here. Number of homes on the market. And let me just tell you what we're looking at first off. We've got all single-family detached and attached homes in the metro Albuquerque area. So that's all 4 counties. And we're looking at both new construction and resale. I'm going to break it down here in a minute when we get the pricing between new construction and resale, because there's some important distinction there. We're going to start right here with the number of homes on the market, because that's still a challenge. We have not a lot of homes on the market, and good homes that are coming on the market are still selling fast, and we'll look at that here in a second. 1,223 homes on the market at the end of March. That's a 15% roughly increase from last year, last March. So we have seen an increase from 23. However, when you look at this chart and we go back to March of 2019, we're still at half of that. And I will tell you, at that time in 2019, we were already saying, the number of homes on the market is pretty low. And we're still at a very, very low number of homes on the market. So that's homes for sale. Pending sales, this is an indicator of, what type of activity we're going to have in the future, what kind of closings. It's usually from when they go under contract or pending in this case, to actual closing is anywhere 30 to 50 days, just depending. It averages around 45, 50 days. But anyway, 927 pendings this month. That's 10% higher than last year. So there's still activity out there. You can see, though, when we look at this, it is low. Again, let's go back to that 29 number. There was 1,294, almost 1,300, and where we're at today. So the number of people just transacting, moving, buying homes, selling homes is down. So if we look at the number of homes coming on the market, you'll see that's bumped up a little bit from last year. Again, 1,050 from last year. It's a 3% increase, really not significant there. So, few people are listing, but we do have these very low number of homes coming on the market. So even if we go back to, let's say, March of 21, it was 1,400 homes. Let's find this, the March of 20. Of course, March of 20, we know what happened then, but on that month, there were 1,500 homes, and of course, it dropped off in April of 20. But again, we're going to go back to 2019. There were 1,600 homes that were listed on the market in 2019, much more healthy in the sense of more homes to choose from as there are compared to today. Supply demand, months supply of inventory. This is one of those great measurements that kind of gives us a clue on supply as well as demand, because it's telling us how many homes in the market versus how many homes are selling. So right now we're at 1.5 months supply, meaning if no more homes came on the market and the same number of homes sold, there'd be no homes in 1.5 months. That's still very, very low. Nothing like the craziness we had back in 22, where we were at like a half a month supply. However, if we go back to, let's see, March, here we are, March again of 2019, I like making that comparison because that was the most current kind of normal market we had. We had 2 months supply, which was still historically low. And that was my point earlier. 2019 was already a very strong housing market. And of course, the pandemic and everything that went around that just accelerated that trend that was already happening. Okay, let's jump into prices because everybody wants to know what's going on with prices. We're going to start with median sale price. So this is the middle number between all the homes that sold in March. We're at $340,000. That includes all single family attached, single family detached, both new and resale. But I want to break this down because it does tell a little bit of a different story. So 340,000 across the board, that's a 4.6% increase. I'm going to strip out attached, and we're only looking at detached now. And 4.6%, that's 353,090. And we're going to do one more thing. We're going to break out new construction versus resale. Our yellow line here is the new construction, and you can see that new construction prices are actually down when we're looking at median about 12%. Previously owned or resale up about 8%. So it's that whole thing. It depends how you look at the data, how large the data set is, what it comes in at. So, but I do want to show you one thing. We've heard that term shrinkflation. Let's talk about that in the sense of real estate. We're going to look at price per square foot. We're looking at resale versus new construction. Remember, in new construction, the median price was down. Well, actually, the median price per square foot is up 5%, as well as the previously owned and the resale up 5% as well. So what that tells us is, yes, new construction homes are less expensive on the median price. However, price per square foot is still moving up, which means the homes are getting smaller. There's more, what's the right word? Value engineering going into the homes to meet the market. New construction homes, we know they're expensive. And if we look, let's just go back and look at that real quick. Again, the median price for new construction is $360,000. Compared to resale, it's $350,000. So again, builders are trying to meet the market, come in with affordable homes, but really that's difficult to find anything in the new construction world under $300,000 anywhere in the Metro Albuquerque. There's a few, don't get me wrong, but it's a rare animal. And then the last thing we're just going to look at here is days on market, and I'm going to strip out new construction because new construction days on market has to do with when it goes in the MLS to when it actually goes off the market. What can happen with new construction is, well, it could be in there a long time because it's under construction. So we're just going to look at resales. So resale, previously owned, median days on market, 8 days, meaning half the homes that went under that went under contract in March. I take that back. These are the homes that closed in March, 8 days. So half of them went under contract in 8 days. Again, that's pretty darn fast. We go back, I'm going to do that comparison to 2019. Here we are, 22 days. And again, that was relatively quick too back then. Nothing compared to what we had in those crazy days at the beginning of 23 and of course in 22. 3 days on market is what we were looking at. That means that half the homes were selling in 3 days. So there is still demand out there. Good homes that are priced well, that are in desirable areas that that people want, that are in the right price ranges, are still in high demand, and we do see a lot of demand for those homes. And I don't see anything like that changing. Right now, our supply demand is still way out of whack. There's a lot of buyers out there that are waiting for homes. There's a lot of sellers that are just kind of holding off because they've got these great interest rates as well. So it's an interesting market dynamic, very different than anything we've seen in the past for sure. So again, if you got any questions about real estate, you can always reach out to us, the Venturi Group at Real Broker, 505-448-8888. Take care.